I'm so glad you're here. So here is our second part of the Q&A, all the questions that I received. So what I did was there was a lot of them that were similar, so I just kind of condensed them. So I hope that this does help to kind of clarify anything. If you do have more questions or other things kind of popped up that um, I didn't talk about or mention, please leave a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to find those solutions for you. Okay, so let's get on with this one. So this one was a really interesting one. I think all of us have certain fears when we go into a salon, especially for the very first time to get a haircut, or maybe it's that first time doing that big transformation haircut, going from like really long hair to short. So the question was, what makes a haircut grow out better than another haircut? Well, it's not so much that one haircut will. It's usually has to do with the technique. Um, if you have like curly hair or textured hair, there's a lot of hairstylists that literally will only specialize in that texture of hair. Now, I do believe that we should be very diverse in our cutting, like pretty much learning and knowing how to cut every type. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't start in this industry cutting hair at all. So for me, I took tons and tons of classes on hair cutting. So I had so much education and I still continue to get even more education. I always feel like I need more, like I need to learn more. So there's always of that perfecting of your craft. And one of the things that I had fun in learning is how to cut curly hair or like textured hair. So that was a lot of fun. Sometimes that soft wave, and they come with different textures. Some are really fine, some are really thin. So I always cut the hair without taking too much tension from where it wants to grow from. I always believe in, or the, no, I should take that back. I was taught to let the hair live where the hair wants to live. So that for me, I think what's really important is to find a hairstylist that has that kind of thought of when they're cutting the hair, that they really invest time and money in their education. If there's one thing to never skimp on is a haircut. I myself have paid $200 for a haircut, loved it, lasted me a whole year. I kid you not, it grew out into another haircut. I truly believe, and I've seen it in my own chair, and I've seen it with other stylists, and a lot of educators have said this, that technically your haircut should grow into another look. It should continue to grow so nicely that you don't need to have another haircut in 4 to 6 weeks. You could literally go like 6 months without a haircut. And I have to say, not to toot my own horn, but this goes to show that the educators I have had in my past, and there are so many that I went to see and I took their classes, and I learned so much that during shutdown, I had clients that said, my hair still looks really great. And it's been, 4 months, 6 months. I had a client I didn't see all year. And she's like, it grew out really nicely. It was almost like I could just live with it. So I would say, for first of all, you want someone who understands your personal texture, um, doesn't want to take your hair out of where it wants to live, and you definitely want someone who has that. I don't want to say the Midas touch, but they really have like this craft and this passion for understanding what they're doing, and that they listen to you. That's another thing. It's that they need to listen to you. That's highly important. So that is where you're going to get a difference of how your hair grows out nicely with a haircut versus not so nice. And I'm sorry to say, but don't skimp on it. Save up. If it means no Starbucks for a couple months, hey, you'll have a wonderful haircut. So just invest in your haircuts. And that's because you're investing in someone's education, craft, their skills of like listening and understanding your hair and your lifestyle. So you definitely want someone like that. That is what's going to make or break your haircut. There are no specific tools or techniques. They're also wonderful to use. There's ways of using everything and all the tools that we have in a way that's going to be crafted and um, created specifically for you. So that's another thing. Another one that I would suggest when it comes to hair cutting, so many times, and I am guilty of this myself, I'm attracted to like wavy, textured hair, like just kind of like wild and curly hair. I mean, that's just where my eye always goes to. I love the hairstyles. I love how the haircuts come. And look at my hair. It's straight. And so when I go and I see a haircut I love, it's always one of those girls that has this like wavy and just like curly, just textured hair. And then I go and show that to the stylist, and they're looking at me like, yeah, that's not you. So I've learned, oh yeah, and it was always really thick, super thick, like tons of hair. I don't have a ton of hair like that. I mean, I have a lot, but not like that. So I learned with experiences, find pictures that mimic your hair type and that mimic your density of hair. Because you could get someone with curly hair, but if you have curly hair, but it's really fine and thin, your hair won't do that because it's finer and it's thinner. So always look for pictures that mimic your hair. I have girls that have like this beautiful, like thicker, kind of wavy, long hair, and they have like a ton of density. They always bring me pictures of girls with finer hair, less density. So the look is going to be completely different. And I can mimic it, but it's not going to be the same. So it's better to find things that are closer to realistically to you than what's like what we're attracted to visually. And I have the same thing, girls with like really fine thin hair, they bring me a picture with a girl with a lot of hair. So there's ways of customizing it. Absolutely. There is. But I think it definitely will help you and the hairstylist you go to if you find something that's a little bit more on the realistic side and kind of fits better visually what you're having. So or that you already have. So that was one question, which I thought was a good one. Because we all have our thing with haircuts. Now, the next one was really, I like this one because I think a lot of us have this thing with nutrition, healthy hair. Um, how do I grow my hair faster? How do I get that density? A lot of times I mean, we're always doing a lot of bad diets that are just not good for us in the long run, where we're not getting the sufficient nutrients and then our hair falls out. So we have a lot of issues with that. So the question was nutrition. Do you recommend for healthy hair? Yes, I am all about putting in all that good food in you. Fruits, vegetables, and a lot of clean protein. I also recommend um, multivitamins. I personally like this liquid one. I'll put a link down below. I did a reel of what I picked at Sprouts for it, but I'll leave the link to that reel from Instagram. So what I do is definitely use the multivitamins. I also use a collagen protein that I put in my coffee every morning. That's also in the videos, so you'll have their you'll have the link down there. Also, when it comes to dieting, I mean, hey, I love a good burger. I mean, in and out, double double protein style. That's me. You know, all of us like it. Like, hey, let's go down to you know, Cane's and get some fried chicken. But at the same time, we definitely have to think of our daily nutrition Monday through, I say Friday because I think all of us eat out on the weekend. we kind of tend to all let loose, right? So during the week, I try to put in a lot of salads. In fact, I have this little trick just so I make sure I have extra greens in all my dishes. And everyone thinks it's nuts, but when they do it, it tastes really good. If I do like a chicken rice bowl, I put like a big, huge, like just cups of like mixed green salad, but I don't put no dressing. I just put it in like the bowl, and then I put my chicken or my tofu, and then rice, and then I always have broccoli. And then there you go. And then the heat of all that kind of like welts it a little and it kind of cooks it. And I just get, and then it flavors it. So it's like I have extra greens in my dish. Also in my omelets, I'll do a nice mountain of mixed greens, and then I put my omelet on top. That too, that's a really great way to get those extra greens. And something that me and my husband started doing just recently, we caught a lot of bad habits due to the shutdown, and so to cut back on eating a lot of sweets, now we've replaced all the desserts with fruit. So at the end of the night, when we usually would have a dessert, then what we'd have is like, a handful of like berries, or berries are great because they're full of antioxidants. Or I'll have a peach, or maybe a little bit of watermelon, just some type of fruit to just end the evening. So nutrition is very, very important. If you're a smoothie girl, you know what? Throw in some spinach in that smoothie. So maybe some kale in it. Actually, I don't like kale. That's me personally, but it tends to be kind of harder. But that spinach, you throw it in there. You throw a little peanut butter in it, and a banana or avocado. Avocado is excellent in your smoothie. Plus, it's full of the omegas because of the oils. Oh my goodness, your hair and skin will just be so slick. I always tell everyone, sometimes you're spending money on glosses, and you're paying for all of these glossing treatments in the salon and buying the gloss shines for styling. And all you really need is some avocado and water. And water is going to be gold. I I used to drink a gallon of water, except I just found out recently I really shouldn't. But drinking plenty of water and staying hydrated is so important. And I'm not saying like drink, you know, water, with your tea or anything like that. Just a good old water. If you don't like the flavor of it, sorry, got all tongue twisted. I suggest I call it sassy water. So I add cucumbers, strawberries, and fresh mint. And you just put it into your water. And of course, because they're fresh, you want to change that out daily from your pitcher. But oh my God, it is so good. And that's a really refreshing summer drink as well. And it just kind of gives your water a little bit of flavor since you don't like water. So that is my suggestions when it comes to nutrition and for your hair and skin. Another thing, when do you know it's time to throw out products? Oh my goodness, I am so guilty of keeping old products because you invest in it and you're like, oh, but I could still use it. No, it's like the worst thing to do. Especially, I have an issue with my pomades that I never use them fast enough, and they get rancid and they even change color. It's time to toss it. It'll even get this, I don't know, weird gooey, almost like it becomes gum. Um, you don't want that in your hair. So if it smells funny, if it's been discolored, it has discoloration, you do not want to put that on your hair. I don't. I'm assuming like all the products have just broken down, and it's kind of like it's like we wouldn't drink sour milk, right? We wouldn't eat like a wilted, yucky vegetable or fruit, right? No, we toss it. It's the same concept with a lot of products. So my suggestion is to smell them. I know some products you can't smell them, or I'm sorry, you can't see them because of the way they're sealed in. So I say smell them. If it doesn't smell rancid, I think it'll still be good. You could even spray it, maybe spray it onto a white piece of paper, and then kind of see how it feels, or even on your hand, and feel like, does it feel sticky? Does it feel gross like that? Like it has like a tacky feeling where it didn't have that tacky feeling before? That might that might be a good indication it's time to toss it and maybe replace it. This is where I have this huge suggestion that this came up to me, like this idea, because I kind of feel so many times I have clients that will over purchase products and then they have stuff at home, or maybe they bought some stuff at Ulta and stuff, and it's like, oh, I don't want them to be like stocking up on all these products and then they never get used, and then there goes their money. So I came up with a really good idea. Take a picture of all the products you have. So whenever you go to like Ulta, Sephora, you go to your favorite salon, you have that picture there on your phone, and then you'll be like, oh, you know what? I still have that shine serum and it's still working. I'm just gonna make a note of this one that I want. You can even take a picture of that product that you want to get, and just store it. Make a little file of the ones you want. So when you're done with the ones you have at home, you can replace it with those new ones. So that way you're not having like this over amount of products, and then half of them, or even more than half of them, don't get used, and then you threw them away. That's like a bad. You know what? And I have that bad habit too. I really do. I mean, I have an overstock of products like crazy because I want to try it. I get something, and I've always been that way. I would go to the salon, and I would, when I was younger, and whatever they use on me, I want everything. It was like, oh, what did you use on me? Okay, I'll take it all. That was always my, I don't know, that's how I am. The same thing. If I get my makeup done somewhere, I'm like, "What'd you use on me? Okay, I'll take it all. I want all of it." I don't know why I do, but I do. Do I finish them all? Some I do. Well, the makeup I do. Some of the hair products I do. But then again, our hair changes style so often, so that means our products will change too, because you're not going to use the same product on long hair as you would a short pixie. So if you go from long hair to pixie, a lot of the products that you had for your long hair, it's not going to really work for the pixie. You're going to need some extra stuff for the pixie. So that's another thing. But I just say discoloration, weird little smells, any like sticky, yucky feeling in your hands, kind of like, I don't know, pasty look feeling. I can't describe it. It's like this gross pasty feel. Um, it's time for it to be thrown away and replaced. But I hope you take a picture of what you have before you head on over to the store or the salon, because that's going to be really helpful for you in the long run. That way you're not overspending on products. So another one, this is going to be the last question, because I thought this one was really like kind of a good finisher. There's so much conversation right now in regards to the scalp. So I feel like a lot of us have had a lot of issues with the scalp, and the only thing I can kind of think of that it might be, I mean, this is just me and my own thinking. This isn't something that I've discovered or that I researched or that I found, but because we're washing our hair less, and we're using more products like dry shampoos, I think not that we're having scalp conditions, but we tend to have a little bit um, of dryness. So it doesn't mean we have dandruff, because there's a big difference between having dandruff, dry scalp, and just kind of like a little bit of like product buildup. And I noticed this with myself. When I don't wash my hair for like a week, I start feeling like these little like gross little, I don't want to call it dandruff, but it feels like that. It's like these little dry patches. Well, it's because My hair, usually I have it up or something, or I'm putting a lot of dry shampoo to camouflage. I'm styling it more, doing more things to it. So all that kind of builds up on my scalp with the oils and the sweat. So there's nowhere for it to really go. Even though I brush it, it doesn't really have anywhere to go, and it just kind of sits there for a while. So at the end of the week, for my scalp and for its health, I use the Kevin Murphy has this really great uh, scalp spa, and it's these microbeads in it, they're like little scrub, so nice. And I scrub my scalp with it, and I use my shampoo brush. And so then what I do is I use that and then the micellar shampoo, and it really conditions. It really removes all that buildup that I have all week long, and it really has helped a lot. Now, when it comes to dandruff, there is some dandruff that is actually it's kind of fungal. Well, that's what it is. The dandruff is fungal, and that you usually sometimes have to get that medicated, or you need to see a dermatologist for some of them, because there are certain types that does need a medical doctor to kind of treat it. Now, there are also incidents where, what for me, for example, I had severe um, dandruff growing up. And of course, this is like my teens and especially during the college years, like those late teens and early 20s. I was living on my own, kind of, fending for myself. So mom wasn't buying me the salon stuff. So I was using like all the store bought ones. I'm not going to say the name, but it was so bad that my I would wear this black jacket all the time, and it was just covered in white. So what we found out was that I was allergic to the sulfates in shampoos. And to this day, whenever I use any shampoos that are like over the counter, oh, by the end of the week, I've got dandruff. Like it's just white. It's like snow on my shoulders, and then like itchy, 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 really bad. So from my early 20s, after that, when we figured out that it was that was when I started using salon products. And it was funny because back then we didn't really have what we have today for salon products. So at that time, I was using Joico and KMS. Those were my two products that I would go back and forth on. It wasn't until now. I mean, we have such a variety. It's amazing. I love it because you have Hair Story, you've got Kevin Murphy, you got Davenant, you got Colton King. I mean, it's just endless. So it's really nice. We get this variety. Hairstyles. Can't forget that one either. So we have so many to choose from. If you're having any scalp issues, sometimes it could be due to stress as well. Just like when we are losing hair, that will also cause issues with your scalp as well. So it's your health, the scalp, plus it could be certain products that you're using. And I would suggest if you're having any like severe um, dandruff, see a doctor, see a dermatologist. Also, another thing that could be causing any scalp issues, it could be also an imbalance, the imbalance of the pH in on your scalp. So those are things that you might want to consider and to think about. You want to use um, maybe a shampoo, a wash that is for balancing the pH of your scalp. Kevin Murphy has one. That's the only one that I know. Can't think of any other product line that has one like that. But it's supposed to balance the scalp and the pH of your scalp and your hair. Because usually, if you have oily scalp, you have dry hair. So with nutrition, that's going to definitely help with your scalp, and definitely doing scalp treatment at least once a month. I totally highly recommend. I think all of us can use a little scalp massage. Another thing that I use personally, I don't know if this would work for you, but it works for me, is maybe about 2 or 3 times a week. I like to take my collagen serum and my peppermint oil, and I emulsify them in my hands, and then I go and I massage it into my scalp really good and get it all in there, which is crazy because my hair doesn't get oily. Like, it doesn't get oily at all. You would think like, oh, it'd be gross, but no, it feels really good. I go to sleep that night like a baby, and I do it at night while I'm watching TV, and I feel like it's really helped with my hair and my scalp as well. So that's another thing that you can probably consider doing as well. But again, a lot of these things, especially if you're having any scalp issues, you definitely want to talk to your doctor beforehand. These are only my suggestions. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say like it's going to be a definite. But at the end of the day, I would suggest doing a scalp massage at the salon or get the scalp spa from Kevin Murphy, because that is like fabulous. I love it, and I do that either once a week or sometimes once a month. So it just all depends. Like, you could do it, how often you want to, but definitely you don't want to go more than once a week. So so there's all the questions. I hope I was able to answer those for you correctly, and I clarify some stuff for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I could go on and on talking. So I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to condense it. I'm sorry if I took too long. But you guys have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for the next one. I have a little special one. I think all of you guys are going to really appreciate. I call it the secret menu of a salon. So, and so I hope that might you guys might get a kick out of that one. So anyway, I will see you guys all soon. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.